Okay, perfect. We are recording now. So what we are going to do is make sure that this session is accessible to everybody afterwards. So we're going to be answering a lot of questions here towards the end of the session. So you don't have to be over there writing notes too diligently. We will send you the recording afterwards as well for you to listen to. So once again, I want to thank everybody for signing up and also for joining us if you are listening to this live for this really entertaining session. I think that this is probably one of the best opportunities that we've come across here in the market today, especially when it comes to the agricultural side. I know a lot of us are looking for unique ways to diversify our portfolio and really add different assets to what we're trying to accomplish. And this is one of, I think, the best ways that we are able to do so. So we're going to jump in. It is going to be, I'd say, about 30 to 40 minutes. And then from there, I'd say about 5 to 10 minutes of just a recap information. I know sometimes we forget what we inquire about, and then from there, we will be answering those questions for you. So just a couple of housekeeping items. One, if you find that Q&A section on the control panel, that's where you'll type in any questions that you have. We also had a list of questions that were sent to us prior from folks that were either not able to join live or wanted to get their questions to us beforehand. So we will be answering those as well. But if you have any questions that pop up, feel free to find that in that Q&A section on your control panel and type in your questions there. In addition to that, there is a email address. I'm going to go to it here. I'm going to go down a little bit. You'll see it right over here on the bottom left, info@globalpropertymarketplace.com, info@globalpropertymarketplace.com. As you have any questions, perhaps you're listening to this later during the recording, you can reach out to us there, or if there's anything that you think about after the session, you can respond to us there as well. So we're going to just jump right in. I'm excited to share this information with you. There's actually a lot of great new information to share with you too, since the time that a lot of you inquired. So stay tuned and we'll get that information over. All right, so my name is Rachel Jensen. I'm work with Live and Invest Overseas as an opportunity consultant. I recognize a lot of the names for folks who registered and are online with us today. So I'm happy that you were able to join us. And then for those of you who are newer to Live and Invest Overseas, welcome. This is a great platform for you to learn about opportunities that are happening internationally when it comes to real estate, agriculture, and many opportunities beyond. Belize is where I call home. I'm from the States originally, but currently based in Belize and travel all around the world to find great opportunities for folks. And then with us, we also have Alper. Alper works with API Group or Agro Invest. And Alper, did you want to say a couple words about yourself? I know that we didn't really have that planned, but if you want to, that would be great too for folks to know who it is behind the screen over there.
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to welcome everybody who is joining to this webinar. So my name is Alper Apaydin. I am the chairman of the API Group, and we've been in Spain now almost 7 years. And we established AgroInvest Spain actually with a great vision. We look at it actually the way we look at it, real estate, and then this agriculture real estate. And after many years of research and with a great know-how, we choose this region. Extremadura is one of the largest part of Spain. And where we are based, Plasencia is actually a very unique place. And we have a great team here. We have a great commitments, and we believe that we have a very unique concept. And it's a great pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And also with us today, we're very lucky to have Mert. Mert is the country operations manager there for Spain. And Mert, do you want to say a couple of introductory words as well?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Rachel. This great introduction. And my name is Mert, and I am the operation and the country manager of the API Group and AgroInvest Spain. So that's it.
That's perfect. So these are the guys, folks, that we really wanted to have on to answer those questions for you, because there are a lot of great questions that have been asked. These really are the on-the-ground experts who have all of that information that we are going to be requesting about. So just as a recap, I know some of you inquired maybe a month or two ago, or maybe it was even before that when you were looking at opportunities here when it came to almond ownership. But the farm that we're going to talk about today is specifically farm S7. As mentioned, it is located in Plasencia in Spain. If you're not really familiar with the region, don't worry, we can send you tons of brochures and literature on where exactly it's located. We really wanted this to be a quick recap, and then we have all the brochures perform as FAQ guide for those that are looking for a little bit more information. But what I really like about this opportunity personally is that it's larger acreage when it comes to an agricultural investment. Sometimes you're finding, a quarter of an acre, a tenth of an acre, half an acre. But in order to really cultivate the sort of inventory that you need in order to make a nice profit from it, you do need a little bit more land. And so this is nearly 2 acres at 1.87 acres. And then there are a couple of opportunities because we understand not everybody has 85,000 euros laying around. There is a finance option as well, where you're able to put 30% down over a 3-year term. You'd be paying in quarterly payments. So that would be about 105,000 euro. So you do have that option there when it comes to if you'd rather pay cash or if you would rather finance. But what's really neat about this is that you actually own the land. It's not a lease. It's not something that will say, all right, after the first harvest or after the 45th harvest, we're going to be taking the land back. You own the land and it's yours. And then you can do it again and again. And this is really big for those who are thinking about generational wealth stewardship, thinking about passing it on to their heirs down the line, but a really big opportunity for you there. And I mentioned after the 45th year. So what's really neat about almonds is that it is a 45-year term that a tree is good for. And it only takes about 3 years for an almond tree to start producing. And so the opportunity here within Farm S7 is the trees are already a couple of years old. And then next year in 2024, we will be seeing the first harvest. So you don't have to wait a full 3 years in order to start to see your money come back to you. This is something that you will be able to start to see a return starting next year in 2024. So I do want to make a quick note there that the prices do not include the titling fees or taxes. Feel free to reach out to us. We have a breakdown of all of that just so you're able to see a little bit more about what your full number in would be. Let's talk about ownership benefits, because when you're looking at opportunities, and there are many opportunities out there, it only makes sense that you're comparing them to see what makes the most sense for your portfolio. And the 4 reasons that you see here on the screen are 4 top reasons that we're seeing other investors have decided to own almond farms with us. So the first one, and I mentioned this just on the slide before, is that first harvest is coming up. So in a lot of times when it comes to agricultural products, there is that waiting period right before you start to see an income come in. And with this, because the trees are already a couple years old, starting next year, there will be that first harvest. That means, I guess at the time of recording this, we're towards the end of December. So what that means is that you really have about, I'd say, a year, a little less than a year before you start to see that first paycheck, which the year goes really, really quickly. And then jumping there to the second point is that every year the trees are producing almonds. So, I've seen some agricultural opportunities where there's this one big payout at the end and that's it. Then you have to replant and do it again. With this, the trees are already growing, as we've mentioned, and every year for 45 years, you start to see, and you do see an income coming in. And at about 4 years of production, that's really when the trees have, I would say, the most amount of almonds that they would for that lifespan of the trees. So, 4 years after the harvest, and you're able to see that income come back. So anticipated 10% return by year 4. At this point here, number 3 is huge, because when you are looking at opportunities, it is so important for you as an owner to understand where it is that inventory is going to be sold. It's great if Mert and Alpar are able to produce really great almonds, right? That's awesome. That's great. And if you an owner love almonds, that's great. You can have your own little almond farm there. However, when you're looking at an income, you need to make sure that there's a market for people to be purchasing, right? That's how you will make your money. And so the processing plant has opened, which is really exciting for these guys. We'll have them tell us a little bit more about it. And the new brand is also getting launched. This is really big news for investors, because what that means is there's this in-house turnkey operation. So you don't have to depend on another company or another entity buying the raw almonds from you. It's all able to be done right there. And then last but not least, this is always important when you're looking at an investment, is just the years of experience and the management guarantee. There are a lot of people who are coming into this trend, the food trend. We understand that the world population continues to grow. There's going to be a continued demand for food. And so people are just starting to get into this industry, and that's fine, that's great. However, you as an investor probably want to be working with somebody who is experienced, who knows the market, who's done the research, for years and understands what it is that the marketplace is demanding. And these guys have done that. As we saw in the first or second slide, it was they have over 30 years of experience in the agricultural industry. Been in Spain the last 7 years. They've done walnuts and olives and really have a good handle on what the market is looking for. So I'm not going to read these next steps to you verbatim. I think a lot of you over there, all of you probably can read, but I just want to give you a quick recap because this is important to understand as you decide to take those next steps forward. So when you decide that you want to move forward, what we'll do is we'll send you a reservation through DocuSign, and you'll be able to do it all there on your computer. So you don't have to worry about that. Then when we get that back, we also need a copy of your passport and then also utility bill. And then from there, we'll send you the paperwork again via DocuSign to look through. Once we receive that paperwork from you, it will get countersigned by the API group, and then payment will be completed. There will be 2 payments. One is the management payment, and then one is going to be the parcel payment. Again, all done in euros. If you don't have a bank that can do the conversion for euros to you, we can introduce you to a money transfer company. And then once the funds are received, then we begin the titling work for you, because this is important. Like I mentioned before, you own the land, so you will get title to the property. So with that, that was just a really quick recap of what you've probably seen in emails and brochures. If you want more details, we can certainly send that over to you. This wasn't meant to be a full-on presentation about almonds. It was just to jog your memory a little bit. But we have the brochure, the FAQ guide, the performa, if you want to see what those numbers look like. But what I really wanted to do, because I understand everybody's time is really precious, and we are here during the holidays, and I'm sure some of you are multitasking over there, maybe preparing some food or cleaning the house. We want to make this comprehensive. So what I'm going to do is Mert and Alpar go through the questions that were sent to us first. And then for the folks that were online, feel free to type in your questions to the Q&A section that you see there at the control panel, and then we'll get those answered too. So I'm going to just jump right in here and we can go from there. So the first question is, obviously you guys have invested in walnuts and olives, and I'm guessing that was a pretty lucrative investment for the company. Why did the company decide to get into almonds?
Should I answer, Mr. Mert?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, almonds are very valuable kind of nuts, and we look at almond actually as a commodity. And I mean, almonds are actually one of the most used nuts at the moment in the industry, and the usage of almonds increase year by year. And also, apart from being a very used and valuable nuts, almonds as a type of nuts, after years of experience, we realize that is one of the most secure product, because you always have a buyer for almonds, you always have a buyer for quality almonds, and also with the changes in the agriculture industry, with the climate, everything, you have to be very secure and you have to be very sure what you are growing. So almonds, they require less water than many other nuts, and the climate is very important. So if you choose the right location, the right type of soil, we believe that it's the most profitable and secure product. That's why we choose almonds.
Awesome. And you really did hit the nail on the head there too. I know I've worked with a few agricultural investments, and the location is so incredibly important. Anybody could plant a seed, right? We could all be out there planting seeds. However, if it's not the right soil, if it's not the right climate, the right temperature, those seeds are not going to grow. So the next question that came in here was, why was Spain chosen? And I'm going to make the assumption, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that Spain was chosen in the specific area, Plasencia. Spain was chosen because of, like you said, the climate and the soil.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, 100%. But it's not the Spain itself only. I mean, which part of Spain? So Spain is a very big country. And
Mhm.
Spain is one of the most important agricultural zone of entire Europe. So, I mean, the west of Spain and the east of Spain has different characteristics, different climate, and the temperature and the many other things as well. So, I mean, that's why, of course, we choose Spain and specifically that part of Spain.
Perfect. And you mentioned something, and I'm going to jump to that question here, was about water, because I know you mentioned that almonds don't need as much water as other nuts, but I know that they do still require a lot of almonds. And we have a client who actually has an almond farm in California, and he was telling us how they were really struggling recently, you know, over the last, I'd say 5 to 6 years because of the severe droughts in California. So obviously there was just a lack of production that was happening there, and it was a very challenging time for them. How are you guys handling the water situation in Spain and to make sure that the almonds in the farm have enough water?
Well, in this case, all our lands they are in water concession lands, which it means that the Spanish government is provide us to water, and there are some specific periods of getting the water from them. Also, we are building our own water pools, water reservoirs in our lands, in case if we need post harvest or like during the March or and end of February period, if you want to give some irrigation, fertile irrigation if needed. But
Oh, wow.
this is how we control generally.
Yeah,
But
that's hard.
as I told you that all the lands, they are water concession lands, and the water is provided by the government during the agricultural period.
Oh, yeah, for folks listening, that's huge. That's really huge because you really don't find that in many countries. And so the fact that you're able to essentially guarantee water for this is just amazing. All right. Next question I'm seeing here is what happens after the harvest? So I'm going to guess that this question was alluding to after the 45 years of the tree's lifespan, what happens at that point, you know, to your farm since you own it?
Are you asking what happens after 45 years or after each harvest period?
I think the question here was alluding to what happens after 45 years, but we can answer both just in case I'm misinterpreting it and the person's online here.
I can answer the harvest part. I mean, as you know that almond harvest once a year, and this is mostly between 18th of August, and depends of the variety. It goes up to 7th of September, and once we harvested all the almonds, all the specific projects, then we collect and we bring them to our installations. And then after start to make calculations, of course.
And regarding to after 45 years, basically there are different options. We can actually cut the trees, and then we can do replantation. This is usually what happens because your land already has a permission to grow almonds. And these permissions might be extremely valuable in the very far future. We cannot estimate 45 years from today. But owning the land itself with the trees, it's something, but you also own the fertile lands with the water concession, with the water drillings and the irrigation. It's also a very valuable asset. So after 45 years, the land will we have a great value in the same way as today.
Perfect. And so I think that's important for people to know too, is that when you move forward with this, you are agreeing to the land purchase agreement, right? You own the land, and then there's also the management agreement. And both of those get paired together and registered with the title. So when somebody is getting the land, right, when you're getting the land, there's going to be that management agreement associated with it. And I'm going to bring this up because this has been asked to me before, is people want to know like, oh, can I build a house on the land? right? They think, oh, I have 2 acres in Spain. It's beautiful. If I need a plan B or an emergency happens, I can go to my land in Spain and build a house. And you cannot do that. I just want to make that clear. That's not an option, because when you purchase the land, it's in this management agreement. And so you do agree to keep it as farmland. So I just wanted to mention that there. And we did mention this a couple of times throughout the presentation, but somebody said, do I own the land, the trees? Yes, you own it. It is titled in your name. And then how long would you guys say it typically takes to get title? Once everybody submits everything to Natalia and Dan, in terms of their paperwork, how long would you say it typically takes for them to receive title to their property?
This is immediately, Rachel. Once the full payment is completed, it all depends your legal representative's action.
Well, and the reason I ask that is because down in Latin America, obviously Europe is not Latin America, but in Latin America, it could take like 18 months for somebody to receive a title. And
Wow.
so it's always good, to know, just come in with that expectation is, all right, I'm going to wait. Obviously you own the land, right? You complete the purchase agreement and whatnot, but then actually get that physical piece of paper, maybe 2 months.
Once we sign the purchase agreement and when the final payment is done, then we take the appointment in the notary, and if the investor's legal representative, then once it is signed in the notary, the land is officially yours.
Yep,
but of course there are always some administration period, we can say, to register it, to communicate it to the government staff and everything. It takes 1 month, 1 month and a half approximately.
Okay,
but once it's signed in the notary, the land is yours.
Perfect. And folks, we have a legal representative that we can recommend to you, so you don't have to try to be over there trying to find a Spanish attorney to help you with this. You will be using an attorney to help with that closing. They'll be the ones who are able to do the notarizing for you and get everything taken care of for you. So you don't have to worry about that part. And Mert, you did mention something that I do want to highlight to the folks on the screen or on the session with us, is that if you are financing, right, there's that 3-year financing opportunity, then the title would be transferred when that last payment is received, right? So obviously the agreement is, is valid, right? But just note, folks, and this is pretty common, a way to do it if you're financing something for short term, is that the title would then be transferred at the point of your last payment being received. All right, fantastic. And then coming on to the next question here, and this, well, I'll just ask it anyway. We didn't go through financials in the presentation here. If anybody wants to perform, of course, we can email that over to info@globalpropertymarketplace.com. But we can talk about numbers for a second. So when you were putting together your financials, how did you guys come to those numbers that you have in the financials?
I'm answering, Mert. Okay?
Yeah, please.
So basically, what we do is very, very transparent. Okay, the almond prices, anybody can Google, and you can see the almond prices wholesale, what's the average prices, what is the retail price, etc. And one thing we actually produce prime almonds. So we have very high quality almond production. We don't do only one type, we have different types. And we also do very commercial types. So we don't produce any types very difficult to sell or something. So this is one thing. So the almond price, we do the calculations according to our past experiences. And as a nature of the business, there's a data we also observe from the recent years, from ours and from the region as well. And we use all this data to create these feasibilities. Of course, in agriculture, some years you might see different kind of productions, things like that. Usually in almonds, this is much less than kind of, for example, olives are much more unpredictable, but almonds are more predictable. So it's not extremely complicated. It's quite straightforward.
Perfect. And then I understand that you did have a harvest year for some of your farms this past year in 2023, right?
Yes.
That's right, of course.
And how did that go? Were investors happy?
Uh, yeah, So basically, in this business, if you don't have any, let's say, the dramatic situation, things like this, you are always happy because the production might drop a specific percentage. And in 2023, we didn't have any major drop in the production generally. And
Perfect.
also, we have to understand the nature of the business as well. We don't have one very big project. We have big projects in the same region, and sometimes it might be little differences between the productions. So they will never be identical exactly, but they will be always similar. So the production-wise, the quality-wise, since we started our operations, we doing very well. Just because we actually doing a professional work, we have a very good team. Everything has been done very professionally scheduled. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in the agriculture business, you have to be very dedicated and very professional.
It's true. Dedicated and professional make all the difference. That is very, very true. All right. And then, so you did allude to this a little bit before, but I am going to ask the question anyway. And this was a question that said, are the almonds all pooled together and then the income is split? So like if everybody, there's 24 parcels in farm S7, would all of those almonds get pooled together and then split evenly? Or how do you guys keep track of the almonds if you don't do it that way?
Well, we pull all the almonds in the same project. For example, all the almond what we harvest from the S7, we pull it, and then after we split it, depends of the square meters or the percentage on the investor.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. And obviously you wouldn't pool it all per farm because they're at different, each farm is at a different stage. And
exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that's good to know. That's really reassuring for investors because I know sometimes people are like, well, I want to go out and count the number of trees on my farm. And obviously there's a good average, right? It's not like one parcel has 5 trees and another parcel has 500 trees. There's a strategy when you're planting, but it's still very reassuring. And then next question here is, who are you selling to and what if there is no market? And you did talk about the market a little bit before, but we'll ask this question again because it's, a good question and something that as an investor, you want to, you want to know the either the exit strategy, you want to know the pros, the cons. So I get it. And the question again is, who are you selling to and what if there is no market?
Yeah, so there's no such a thing. There is no market because in this business, almond productions in Spain and almost in every country are actually monitored by the governments with the Ministry of Agriculture. And there are cooperatives and then there are associations. And there's always associations, they actually want to purchase from the farmers. And there's always with the actually the production levels, there's always price at the end, and that determines the wholesale price. So let me give you an example. Mr. Mert actually will be able to tell you more, but there's a lot of buyers come to us even before the harvest. They want to fix the price. They want to buy your almonds even before the harvest. Why? Because they also want to get the best possible price. They want to actually reserve the almonds. And because especially if you produce a good quality almonds, the buyers will come more and more every year before the harvest or during the harvest. So there's never such a thing that there's no market. It can be lower prices, but it cannot be such a thing that there's no market. This is the reality. And when we actually sell, we look at what is our strategy. Okay, usually during the harvest, especially in Spain, the prices are lower. After the harvest, prices go up in the wholesale and the retail. That's why we always catch the right timing. We never go in a hurry. We actually take our harvest into our storages in our facilities in the factory, and then we try to sell at the best possible price for us, but also for our investors. And you shouldn't forget that we don't sell all our lands. We are also a producer. That's why we look after the interest of ourselves and the investors at the same time.
Love it. And then also this question goes along the line of the processing plant. I know that that is a really, really big milestone. Do you mind just sharing a little bit more about the processing plant and what that means for investors?
Alper, just 1 second, please. First, I would like to show you how the process plant is.
Yes, I might have to give you screen access. Let me do that for you.
If you don't mind, no, I will show you live.
Oh, even better. Even better, Mert.
I will show you live. It's a little bit distance, but just here.
Perfect.
Then
Well, this is
then
an exciting treat, folks. We didn't plan this one. Oh,
here,
wow.
Here you can see this is our process plant, and these are all the stocks which we have. Some of them which is already stocked from this year's harvest.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really neat.
So Alper, now you can continue. Sorry.
Okay, so first of all, us to have our processing plant, I think it's a great motivation and advantage for the investors. Why? Because this is first of all a big investment. You have a factory in a very, very unique and prime location. Our factory is actually in the organizational zone of Plasencia, very close to the farms. And we establish a very modern facility with a very unique processing line. So it is very important, first of all, for the product quality, okay? Because if you don't do the harvest in the right time and process it in the right time, the quality of your almond is going to reduce, which means a less price for your almonds, and it can be catastrophic. So this is extremely important. You have your own facility and you have a good, high quality product. This is number one. Second thing, you are not relying on third parties. That means that you will actually process your own product in your facility. And finally, very important, the processing cost will be much less, and you can always do your feasibility accordingly. When you put all these things together, these are the most important first initial stage. And in the future, this facility will benefit much more if we do sell with our own brands, partially or at the maximum level, etc. The opportunities are actually lining up with such a facility. So we have a great storage areas, we have a great space and location. So this is a very, very important advantage for the investors and of course for our company as well.
Perfect. Yeah, that's really significant to be able to have the processing plant there and not have to depend on other entities, and for cost control too. That's really important for investors.
Exactly.
And then the last question that was submitted beforehand was, is there insurance on the property? What if the trees on my parcel die?
Well, all the parcels, all the lands, all the projects, they are insured, and we take care of all the management cost first 3 years of the plantation, but the ones they are already under production as S7, actually the percentage of the die tree is really low. So in cases maybe not. Of course, there are always some X reasons, but in this case, even not, we can say 1% of all the plants which you have in your plot.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's important for folks to understand that because it's a possibility, right? But to know that there's insurance that's managed, it's well taken care of really is
No, but
reassuring.
yeah, but all the lands they are insured from minute one, we can say. Once the tree is planted on the land, all the lands are insured.
Awesome. 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 And so I think that really wraps up all of our questions here.
Mhm.
I know, and I'll bring this question up because I know that this has been asked to me previously too, is, folks were saying, oh, this sounds like a really good opportunity. Why are the developers selling? Right. And I know that from the business model, and correct me if I'm wrong, from the business model, you'll sell a few parcels, a handful of parcels in the farm, and then use that money to start new farms and have new opportunities for people. And I think that that's a really unique way to do it too. And also from the investor perspective, where you don't necessarily want all of your farms to be the same age, because you do want to have it staggered, especially after 45 years, right? You want to have that income continuing in. You don't have to want to wait 3 years in order to start see a harvest come back. So I think it's a great way to do it, where you're constantly getting more land, constantly planting more almonds. And then also from the investors side, if you want trees of different ages, right, then you're able to pick up different parcels and different farms. So I think that was a really unique way to do it. But I'm
Do
not
you
seeing.
want,
uh,
would you like me to make a comment on that?
oh yeah,
Because
please, please, please.
this is,
That's how we have you on. I don't, otherwise this could be a monologue, but I don't want that. That's why we have you guys on here.
because this is a very important question,
Mhm,
I think, and the answer is important as well. So
mhm,
basically, if you ask a real estate developer, you getting a very good rent from your apartments, why do you sell them? You
mhm,
know, I mean, probably he would say, because that's my business model. But in our case, we don't sell all our uh, farms. This is number one. Okay.
mhm.
Number two, we don't work with banks. So all these assets, we could have actually go to the bank, take loans, take charges on the lands, and we would work with this way. But I think our model is very smart. It's
Yeah.
good for the investor, good for us. Because at the end of the day, as I said at the very beginning, this is a real estate. You're owning a farm, you know. So you own the trees on it, you own everything on it. So it's an investment. And we try to create a win-win structure by also putting a great effort on the management side, investing a lot, as Mr. Matt said, all these water securities, all the water infrastructure, all these processing lines, etc. So I think it's quite unique, and it is an end. You cannot do the job forever, and there's an opportunity in only specific areas. So that's why, for example, we have a limitation in our schedule, in our capability in the same region. So this is a limited product as well. So this is when you put all these things together,
Mhm.
it's a product itself with real estate investment, I would say, in the agriculture.
Perfect. And then last but not least, this will be the final question before we close out here. And someone says, are we able to come and visit our parcel?
Of course, I mean,
Of
Mr.
course,
Matt can answer, but you should.
you should
And
you should have to
seeing
come and
is seeing,
see that.
believing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I think we had many investors. They came, they visited. I think we have almost 100% success rate, because the unique thing in this business as well, when people come, they see other lands as well, and they see our difference, how professional we are, how actually good our farms manage, how well equipped they are, how actually well protected they are, how well they design. So it's very important to come and see and to understand, even to see the facility and to visit Mr. Merd and his team there. I think it's important as well. Yeah, definitely they should.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that wraps it up. I know we said we would try to keep it to about 30 minutes. We're a little over the 30 minutes. We're at about 41 minutes, but I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Mert, Alper, Everett, I see you hopped on here also. Thank you guys so much. I know you
pleasure.
are there in Europe, so your time difference is a little bit ahead of ours. So I just want to thank you for making the time to join us today for these questions and answers. And hopefully we'll have some folks come visit you soon at the farm. You know, guys, you can write off as a business trip and, and enjoy Spain too while you're there. But do reach out to us, info@globalpropertymarketplace.com. We'll get you the details that you need. And then you can take advantage of this awesome opportunity. Any final words, Mert and Alper?
No, thank you very
No.
much.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who's joining, and thank you very much to you as well. And we wish a great Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone now, and hope to welcome everybody in Spain.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.